Hello and welcome back to the channel. I thought I would make a video as a follow-up to the rig rundown video, going into a little bit of detail as to how I have the Cirklon set up for performance. Before we get into that though, I want to get into a little bit of an operational recap of how, on the higher levels, the Cirklon is operated. It has a few different levels. It has song, scene, track, and patterns. A song is a collection of scenes and a collection of what are known as instrument definitions. Instrument definitions are what the user sets up to tell the Cirklon how to communicate with its different ports to send and receive data from attached equipment. The instrument definitions are also used as a way to help the user identify what pieces of equipment are doing what and where and how. The scenes are a snapshot of which tracks have which patterns. The Cirklon can be set up to have up to 64 tracks of sequencing. Each track has its own instrument definition assigned to it. So a scene will store which patterns are assigned to which track as a snapshot, at a specific point within the programming of the instrument. How you build songs is you have a progression of scenes that are changing what patterns are activated, as well as which tracks are activated. The way I have it set up is essentially trying to build a template to rely on muscle memory for performances. I have 32 tracks of sequencing. Typically, I'm only using 16 tracks for a specific song. This allows me to have two different songs active at the same time. One whose patterns exist between 1 through 16, and the other whose patterns exist between 17 and 32. And the structure of the tracks is set up to mirror each other for the most part. So starting with track 1. Track 1 is my kick drum, which in this case is bitbox square number 1 here. Track 2 is relegated for claps and snares. Track 3 and 4 are relegated to hi-hat type sounds. 5 and 6 are predominantly miscellaneous. A lot of times I'll end up putting a second kick on 5. 7 is the sequencing for this 303 voice here. 8 is the sequencing for this BD 808 kick drum module. 9 through 16 are sequencing tracks 1 through 8 on the virus. I've tried to establish a pattern for how I have the virus set up in multi-timbral mode, kind of similar to how I have kick, snare, and clap, hi-hats, miscellaneous, etc. Having like one lane devoted to basses, another lane devoted to leads, etc. But due to how I make music, I don't normally end up being able to follow that kind of rigid track layout in the virus. The first 16 tracks are 6 samples that are typically drum-based, the extra kick here, and then my 303 style Eurorack module here, and then 8 more lanes of virus. In this case, though, because I'm using the virus to do audio processing for both the 303 and all of my kicks that are coming either from here or from the bitbox, I have 2 channels set up that are the effects processing channels for both of those inputs. So that's relegated to 15 and 16. If I flip over to 17 and 32, I essentially have a mirror of what we had in 1 through 16. Kick drum, which corresponds with spot number 10 here, clap and snare, spot number 11 here, hi-hat, miscellaneous. Then 25 through 32 are parts number 9 through 16 on the virus. So what this allows me to do is this allows me to always have 2 songs worth of patterns essentially set and ready to go while I'm doing a live performance. So I can effortlessly move from one song into another one. When I'm done with the song that's on this second half here, I will have to change scenes, and that will flip. The tracks 17 through 32 will still have this song's data on it, but tracks 1 through 16 will have data that'll be for a third song, and then I just keep transitioning that way through a performance. So I'll give you a quick little example of how I can run through a performance where I have 2 different songs loaded up at the same time. you can see here, the lights indicate that there is a pattern assigned to this track so far. When I activate the track, the light changes from here into the key to show that it's going. So I have a sequence here on the bitbox that's playing. I have a pattern that's going to the BD808. And then I have another sequence that's going to patch number 1 of the Cirklon, or patch number 1 of the virus. We're bringing another kick and another synth. Okay, easy stuff. Pattern doesn't necessarily fit. I kind of made the pattern on the fly just to kind of show it off. Last part on the virus. Okay, now we'll start bringing in this other pattern. I just wanted to throw the 303 in there for this example. I can go in here and kind of control my levels. And I just keep doing that, moving between different scenes. That'll load up different assignments of patterns between all of the 32 tracks that I use. So at the very basic level, that's how I have my Cirklon set up, with a focus on live performance and giving myself a lot of flexibility to do continuous mixes of all of the songs that I've written on the machine. Thank you for watching again. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.